Thanks to all of you that tuned in to watch this 12 Days of OTRSCentral Christmas video series, which we'll be finishing up today. A little late, but better late than never. Working 6 days a week and the holidays and all this other stuff, it kind of leads you to get behind on some stuff. Thanks to all of you also that checked out my holiday humbug series from earlier this month. It seemed like a lot of you enjoyed that or enjoyed hating that. Either way is fine. The links to all the videos in this OTRSCentral Christmas video series are in the description box below, as is the link to the Holiday Humbug playlist video series. Today's video. This is usually the type of video where I would have it mapped out in my head and I would have this big intricate bullshit planned and an outline and try and tell this phenomenal, incredible story, and I'm not going to do any of that crap here. This is about my one wish as a wrestling fan. My one Christmas wish as a wrestling fan heading into 2014. It's very simple. No, I'm not talking about Sheamus versus Mark Henry at WrestleMania 30. That's just a wish and a dream for my own reasons that a lot of you share with me. This is something different. My one Christmas wish for both WWE and TNA and for professional wrestling in general is to create some new damn top stars. It's that simple. In TNA for so many years, through the cancer of the Jeff Jarrett shit always being in the main event, anytime you bring somebody in new from ECW or WCW or WWE, they always ran through Jeff fucking Jarrett. It was always the same old fossils and washed up has-beens in your main event scene. The guys over 40, the guys over 50, they were the guys you pushed, and you buried the guys like the Samoa Joes and the AJ Styles of the worlds and so on and so forth. After all those years of TNA doing that shit, it did warm my heart a little bit to see them put the belt on Magnus last week and realize that they seem to, at least for the time being, recognizing the fact that it's time they create some new top stars, because frankly, what has pushing all those old fossils and all those old fucks and those washed up has-beens and these guys from the WWE and the WCWs and the ECWs and the guys in their 40s and their 50s, what ultimately has that really meant for TNA? What has that ever really done to put their product on the map? What has that ever really done to grow their product and grow their business? What has that really ever done? It hasn't worked. And you look at it from TNA's standpoint in terms of popularity, in terms of awareness of the product and knowledge about the product and interest in the product, you're pretty close to an all-time low. You really have nowhere to go but up. I'm very encouraged that you put the belt on Magnus. I hope you do everything you can as a company in 2014 to cram this guy down people's throats the right way and make him a huge fucking international star. Of course, I have my reservations because TNA fucking deserves it, because they've done nothing to deserve the benefit of the doubt. But I'm hopeful. You take some other guys. Maybe you take a Gunner, and maybe you do take an Ethan Carter III, or maybe you find some other guys. I don't care at this point. Just find some new guys. Find some guys that are yours. Find some guys that you package, that you bring up, that you make your own top guys. I don't say, well, Ethan Carter III was Derek Bateman down in the WWE. Man, shit. He was really in NXT, so that doesn't really count. When I talk about the WWE rejects that they love to overpush, I'm talking about the Jeff Hardys and the Kurt Angles in the worlds, the fucking RVDs of the worlds, and the so-ons and so forth. But it's time. It's something that would definitely help TNA become a younger company, become a faster, more athletic company, and establish an identity of pushing these younger talents and letting these young lions go. And that way, when they start to enter their peaks, you still have their entire peak of their career to utilize them and get the maximum result from them. It would help, in my case, enjoy TNA a lot more in 2014, because how many times do I need to see like Bully Ray versus Mr. Anderson? Or let's say if you did a Kurt Angle versus Jeff Hardy. Shit like that. Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode again. They just did that. How many times are they going to do that? We need some new life. We need some new storylines, some new creative direction in this company. And then when you look at the WWE, in recent years, in terms of creating stars, they deserve no benefit of the doubt. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say heading into 2014, you're going to believe a lot of the bullshit that a lot of the other people are telling you. Talk about, hey, the Shield, these guys are going to be fucking awesome, and you're all going to be top major players in the Bray Wyatt family. They're all going to be awesome, too, especially Bray Wyatt and the old Brody Lee, Luke Harper. Remember when everybody thought that both Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase were going to be main event players coming out of the Legacy? even though that faction was only about putting Randy Orton over and that was it. Ted DiBiase's not with the company anymore, and Cody Rhodes is not necessarily any closer to being a main event player than he was 2 years ago, and that's just a fact. Remember when a lot of you were saying the same bullshit in 2010 about the Nexus? Oh my God, Wade Barrett's going to be a major draw. He's going to be a huge star. He's going to be the first British world champion. He's going to be a top guy in that company for a decade. Ryback, they're talking about Vince McMahon says he could be the number 2 babyface in the WWE, but behind John Cena. Justin Gabriel could be that Jeff Hardy type of individual. Remember all this shit? Or do we have selective memory? No, the WWE doesn't deserve any fucking benefit of the doubt. Because it's now going into 2014, and you've got John Cena and Randy Orton feuding over the one world title. Shit hasn't changed from 2007 and 2009. It's the same shit. The only 2 other real credible main event players you have at this point on your active roster on a full-time basis that wrestle every week are freaking CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. That is 4 fucking people. No wonder they have to bring in the people like the Brock Lesnar's to work here and there. No wonder Triple H is going to have to work at WrestleMania. No wonder they're bringing back fucking Batista on January 20th. No wonder they're fucking bringing back Undertaker again for WrestleMania 30. It's because they lack top stars, and they have for a period of time. And the utter neglect and contempt that the WWE has shown for creating new stars over the years has really hurt their product and will continue to hurt their product going forward. I just asked this question to the WWE. You always want to play it safe, and you always want to keep Cena and Orton at the top. If you insist on doing that, and it's ultimately your company, it's your call, your decision, wouldn't you want to do everything you could to make those guys look as good as possible, to keep them as fresh as possible in the fans' eyes? Wouldn't one of the easiest ways to do that be to give them fresh new opponents all the time to turn through, so that way you're not having to consistently go back to the John Cena versus Randy Orton, the Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan, the John Cena versus CM Punk, or a Randy Orton versus CM Punk? Well, I mean, if you really think about it, do you really, want to keep doing that all the time? Why not take a guy like a Roman Reigns and give him a massive fucking push in 2014? Rectify the errors of your ways that you learned from the Ryback experience. Why can't you sit there and turn around and flip Ryback back babyface and try again to make him a huge star in 2014? Why can't you take a Bray Wyatt and maybe change scripts entirely and have him feud with The Undertaker heading into WrestleMania 30? Put him on the fucking map. Fuck Brock Lesnar facing The Undertaker. Put Bray Wyatt on the map. Have him feud with The Undertaker going into WrestleMania 30. That'll create a top guy right there in and of itself. The Ambroses, the Rollins. Get behind these guys. Have a Biggie Langston feud with Mark Henry. Then have him feud with fucking Sheamus. Have him go over people. And don't have him be the same type of cookie cutter bullshit, nice to everybody WWE babyface that you've loved to trot out there for so many years. Have him just be fucking Biggie Langston. Have him beat people with the damn 5 count like he was in damn NXT. Have him sit there and talk shit about everybody. Good guy, bad guy, in between, doesn't fucking matter. Get behind these guys. Stop putting them down at the expenses of Cena and Orton. Even with the Daniel Bryans and the CM Punks. Stop always subjugating them to second class in favor of Cena and Orton. And even when you look at Bryan and you look at Punk, they might be stars to a degree, but they're not huge megastars. They might be on the internet, but that's only in the internet's mindset. In the mainstream, they definitely are not huge megastars. And even more so, what concerns me with the WWE, they still to this day, and have for several years, lack that unifying top babyface, that unifying top hero, that unifying type of face of the company that everybody can like. Or pretty much everybody can like. That he's got all the tools. That they like this about him, or that about him, or that about him, or they like the entire package. Because it seems like even with the WWE today, when you have a hero, he's incredibly flawed. Like a CM Punk, and he doesn't appeal to certain people. Or a Daniel Bryan, and he doesn't appeal to certain people. Or if he's John Cena, the company tries to mask the fact that he doesn't appeal to a whole segment of your fucking audience. Enough is enough with the pushing of the 40 and 50-year-old guys and the old WWF and WWE and ECW and WCW rejects and TNA. It's time to make some new stars. It's time to carve out a new identity and a new path for your company in 2014. And in the WWE, enough is enough. It's time to stop coasting on your laurels. It's time to stop accepting mediocrity. It's time to make your product better now in 2014 and into the future for the next 5 to 10 years to come by doing everything you can and putting all of your emphasis on focus on finding 4 to 6 guys and doing everything you can to ram them as hard as you can down everybody's throats the right way and make them huge fucking stars. The payoff for you down the road will be tremendous. That's all I want as a professional wrestling fan is 2014. I just want to see some new stars at the top. I don't think that's too much to ask, and nor do I think it's all that hard to accomplish. TNA, find your guys, stick with them, put your young guys, your new top guys, over the old fucks, promote them, get their names out there, advertise, market them. WWE, a lot of the same thing. Start having young guys go over, figure out storylines for them, put them in meaningful storyline after meaningful storyline, give them big wins and signature victories at big 4 pay-per-views. You know that's the formula to make big, huge stars. It's a formula you followed so many times in the past to make a lot of huge freaking mainstream megastars. It's time to do it again. Enough with the excuses. Enough with the bullshit. It's time for the WWE and TNA to make some new big stars in 2014 and fulfill my one Christmas wish as a wrestling fan.